All right, so this is lesson 6. We'll be going over a few commands. We'll go over the break command, the trim command, the extend, move, and explode commands. So right now, we're going to go over the break command. I drew a little line right here, and I can break these lines, or this line, and in half or in a particular way that suits me. But let me just show you how the break command works in a nutshell. All right, so the keyboard command is BR, hit the space bar, and I could select anywhere on this line and it'll begin the break process. So I can select here and I can slide my cursor over and break it. But as you can see, my snaps start to get in the way the closer I get to them. But if you drag your mouse down, your cursor is what triggers those snaps. So you can click here and break that line there. I'm going to go ahead and undo that. What if I want to break this in half? Well, I can't arbitrarily choose the halfway point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another line, and I'm going to see if I can break this in a particular spot. So I'm going to select the object here, and what I can do is I can trim and use the extend. Oops. To ensure that it is, the extend command to ensure that these lines are equal. And there you go. This line has been broken. You can unbreak lines using the join command. But in a nutshell, that's how you can use the break command. You can also break circles. BR, spacebar, and anywhere in that circle. And you can drag your cursor around to create, a partial circle, or in this case, a letter C. And that's pretty much it. We'll get into, again, the trim command right now. So the trim command is simply TR, spacebar, and there's several ways you can trim. You can select the line that you want to trim from. I find that the easiest way to trim is hit the spacebar again. You'll notice that there's a square instead of my cursor. And this allows me to trim anywhere I want, any place that has intersecting lines. And let's just say I want to get rid of this. Done. I want to get out of the command, hit spacebar again. What if I wanted to create some lines, and let's just say I'll use the offset, and I'll offset this a particular distance, let's just say 2 inches, and I'll offset this one 2 inches, and I want to extend these lines down. I can use the extend command, EX spacebar, select the line that I want to extend to, and then select the objects, or hit the spacebar, then select the objects. And you'll notice once I start moving my cursor over the line, AutoCAD shows you exactly where it's going to extend to. And then just left click, spacebar, and you're in and out of that command. So that's extend and trim. Those are very useful tools to help when your lines don't quite meet up and you want to ensure that they touch. Another useful command I want to go over is the move command. So let's just say this isn't quite centered and I want to eyeball it and center it. I can select all these lines, hit the letter M for move, spacebar. I can grab this anywhere. Typically, I like to avoid grabbing from the grips. I'll grab I'll just select right here, and I can still move this wherever I want, and it won't interfere and try and snap at other certain points. Now, had you see this ghost image right here? Had I grabbed from here and I wanted to move down here somewhere, I might get interrupted with AutoCAD trying to snap to like a midpoint or an endpoint. And so I grab in a space where I know it's not going to get interference with our object snaps. And so there you go. And that's how you can use move in such a way to where it does not get in the way of other line work or objects. So that is the move command. Let me go ahead and erase this real quick. Delete. And I want to get into the explode command. So I'm going to create a rectangle. And the reason why I want to create a rectangle is because the rectangle command creates what is called a polyline, a multi-lines that are linked together. And if you can see how when I selected the rectangle, everything is selected. Now, if I was to draw a rectangle using the line command, line by line, and let's just say I want to mirror this. Well, that's not kind of what I wanted, but anyway, let's just copy. Use the copy command to create this. Okay, this is 4 separate lines that create this. This is one solid line. I can't select this side and it'll be independent of the rest of the lines. So this is what is known as called a polyline. And sometimes it's useful to get these lines in a state where they're independent. So you can also explode blocks. Blocks are used to kind of protect your drawings in such a way to where nothing is going to, it creates somewhat of like a force field to where you can't do anything with it unless you take other protocol to get into that drawing. All right, and so sometimes it's useful to take these polylines, and you can create a polyline of any polygram that you want. So what I want to do is explode this and use the explode command, and it's right here. EXP is the quickest way, or XPL, and you just select the object you want to explode, hit the space bar, and now each line is independent of one another. Right, so we went over the break command and we made these lines independent, but there's also a way to kind of join these lines back together, and surprise, surprise, the command for that is join. So JO spacebar, and you can select as many objects as you want to join together. I can select all 4 or just these 3. Hit the spacebar, and voila, these are now joined together in one polyline. Let's just say you made a mistake and you want to undo that. You can hit Control Z, or you can explode it. Either or, whichever one's quicker. I think Control Z is much quicker. But maybe you just want to join these 2, and then these 2 you want to join separately. And you just want to have this 90-degree angle and this 90-degree angle intersecting lines as a pair of joined lines. You can use the join command. Done. Hit the space bar again. Done. And so now that is joined together, and this is joined together. And that's that. Now, can I select all these to explode at the same time? Yes, I can. You can explode any joints or any intersecting lines that are joined all in one swoop, or you can select as many of them as you want in order to explode them. Okay, so now I'm going to do exercise 6F on page 6-15. It is this little cartoon looking truck. I'm going to go ahead and use a rectangle to kind of help me out. And since there's really not any dimensions on here, I'm going to use this rectangle, the rectangle command, to kind of help facilitate going a little quicker. And so I created two rectangles, and I'm going to trim a lot of and delete the excess stuff that I don't need. There's an angle here that needs to be made, and I'm just going to go right through that. Trim. Again, just trim stuff I don't need, and you can see how it's starting to come together really quickly. Rectangle again. I'm going to create this grill looking thing on the side. And there looks like there's more rectangles. So I'm going to zoom in. And again, I'm just eyeballing this. Can it be exact? We're not getting exact right now. We're just getting used to the commands. We'll get precision. It looks like there's 7 of these. So copy. And I'm going to copy this. And I want to copy from here. And I'm doing this as a reference to try and get an idea or to make sure that I'm copying from the same point. And you know what? Let's see. So that's 7 right there. So I'm gonna have to spread these out a little bit, which is fine. I use the move command. And I'm gonna go from this midpoint to that endpoint and just see how it goes. One by one. And now I'm just using the space bar to get back into the same command. And that looks better. I'm good with that. I'll just move all this and kind of center it. Call it a day. Again, I'm just eyeballing it. We're just getting used to the commands. We're not being precise, and I'll show you how to get more precise later on. So there's a little circle here. I guess it's a bumper. And I'm going to use this same circle. So I'm going to use the copy command, spacebar. I'm going to copy from this center point and go down here, create that. And there's another one here. I'm going to move both of these using the quadrant because these are supposed to be bumpers. Now if I zoom out, they look better. And so I'm just going to use the trim command, spacebar twice, and trim out what I don't need. And there you have it. I don't need that. I do need to create a few arches, and I need to create a door and some hexagons. But I got the body of the work of the truck so far, and so I'm just going to use the circle command to give me an idea of where I want to drop the wheel wells. And I'm going to move this, and again I'm going to move down in here, my cursor down here, in such a way that it's not going to snap into any of the object snapped. And you see this green line, I'm using it to move along the same plane as the original. And so you can see that denoted with the 180 degrees right there. And I'm moving it just a quarter of an inch, actually a little less. And I'm good with that there. And so I'm going to copy this once I'm done with everything. So right now I'm just going to trim this and create a circle. C, spacebar. Actually, I should have. Let's undo. Undo. There we go. Let's just trim this. I want to reference the center of the circle to create my wheel. And so the wheel can go here. And I also need to create a fender. So I'm going to go here. And now I can use the I can use extend to extend here. And so now I have a line to trim from. Here. And here, as well as here. Here. And that's not going to delete. I'll just have to delete that. All right. And so, oh, I should also trim this one. Trim. Oops. Trim. Escape. Trim. Trim this and this. And now I need this fender to have a little bit of an arc. I can use the circle. Now this circle command, I can use a 2-point circle. And it's relatively easy. You just select this point, and then I could trim. So I do the same thing here. Oops. Oh, that's not the 2-point circle. There we go. Trim. Here and there. And there you go. There's my fender. So you can see how it's done pretty quickly. The donut, and create the donut. I need to specify the inner circle. So like I said, I'm just going to eyeball it, and then the outer circle. And there you go. I got some white wall tires. And I'm not making it look exactly like it, but you can see how I'm using the different commands. I can use a hatch pattern. to create a solid hatch. Here, done. So the letter H, spacebar, I selected the hatch pattern that I wanted. I just wanted a solid. And now I want to copy all of this, CO. And again, I'm zooming out so I can slide this over without any of the interference that typically a snap can create when you're up here. You can see already it wants to snap right here. So I start my base point down here. And again, I'm just going to eyeball it. Use my trim. And so I'm going to use the trim in a different way. I'm going to use trim, hit the space bar once, select this, space bar, and it's going to trim. Oh, what happened? There we go. This entire line. So it's using this blue line as a means to trim from. I can go out here and it'll trim stuff from out there. Play with this and get used to it because it can be useful. Everything went away really quickly. So now could you hit TR, the trim command, get into the trim command and hit the space bar twice and then do one by one? Yeah, but that takes time. And that one was relatively quick. And so now I got to draw the door. I can use the offset command. Let me offset. Oops. Offset. Spacebar. And let's do 1/2 inch. That's fine. 0.5. Spacebar. And I'm going to trim some of this. Let's see, 0.5. And I'm going to use the extend to help me out. Let's trim this, or let's extend, offset this 0.5 as well. And then use trim. Or actually, let's use extend first. Let's extend this line. There we go. And now I can use, I'm just going to draw a line from here to here. And now I can use trim to do a lot of the cleanup. And then just select the lines that I want to delete. I'm done. So I realize that this is kind of short, and so I'm going to show you another command that's really cool. But right now I want to move this. And again, I'm going here off the screen, off of this, so I'm not anywhere near it, because what I want to do is I want to show you the stretch command. And the stretch command is really cool, because sometimes when you are drafting, there's things that you need to stretch, and you don't want to delete the integrity of the entire drawing. This command is very useful. So the letter S for stretch, spacebar, and I'm going to select, using the green select, everything that I want to stretch from. So the left end of the green rectangle is where it's going to start to stretch from. And again, I selected the area, the objects that I want to stretch, and it's not going to affect anything here, but it will affect these two lines. And so spacebar, and now I want to specify a base point. You know, much like the move command, I'm not going to go anywhere near here. And so, oops, escape. I forgot, I want to stretch this out too. So go back, stretch, select this, and now, yeah, these 4 lines right here where the green box intersected is going to get stretched. So space bar, specify a base point, and watch this. I can stretch it as far. Hey, we want a limo, we got a limo. But you know, You can specify a distance too. If I want to stretch this over, you know, 1/2 inch, there you go. Stretch it over 1/2 inch. But I want to stretch it a little bit more. Probably another 1/2 inch. There we go. Done. And that is the stretch command. Again, you can use the offset to create, you know, the window. You can use the ellipse to create the steering wheel. I'm just going to go ahead and go real quick and just use a line command. Create this window. Probably use extend. You know, just so I can practice the commands. That's not perfect, so I'm just going to trim that. Use a line command. Ellipse. Oops, escape. Ellipse. Create an ellipse. Create the wheel. Use the line command. Create the steering wheel. Use rectangle. Create the little door handle. And there you have it. That is that. Oh, let me create the hexagon. So polygon command 6. And I want to do inscribe. And I want to use this, but I want to make sure it's kind of aligned a little bit. So let me move this. And again, I'm not going to go anywhere where it could potentially snap to anything. And so I'm going to use lines to help guide me in making sure things are a little bit more accurate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this from here to here, and then use the copy command again from here to here. And that'll ensure that that spacing is the same. But you know what? I think it needs to be spaced out a little bit more. So I'm going to use the stretch command. Delete that, stretch. And now I'm just going to eyeball it. There we go. Use the copy command, CO, spacebar. Copy this object. I'm going to select my base point from here so it'll copy that same spacing. Fair enough? All right. And now I'm going to go here and just drop this one. I'm going to move this. I'm going to drop a line from this midpoint because I think this deserves a little bit more precision. So I'm going to move that and ensure that, okay, this looks pretty similar. And I'm just going to use a copy command, CO, and use the same command too. So I use the base point here to reference the spacing. And now I want to use the copy command again. And I'm going to reference this because it's already done. And then just delete, and voila, you have it done. There you go.